guys, thank you both so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate you giving me your time, particularly, I know you've been very busy as of recent and, it never really stops. So we'll go around the room, as it were, and starting with you first, Shinesh. How are you today? And how's your week been?
Uh, as I said, no, it's been fucking cold. I don't know if we're allowed to swear on here, by the way.
We
Um,
are an adult channel, so go for it.
okay, okay, yeah, it's been really fucking cold. Otherwise, I can't really complain, Things have been going pretty well in life this past week. So, looking forward to this interview. Been wanting to do one for a while, but usually they'd like just to get the vocalist because everyone just cares about the vocalist of the band. No one cares about the guitarist and the bassist. So it's nice that me and Sidney are doing it.
The rule of thumb should always be who's the best like who are the people that like to speak? Who are the ones that like to chat? Forget because sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes it's the vocalist who doesn't want to be do that side of things.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it is a bit weird. I mean, it is kind of like that with our vocalist. When he gets on stage, he's like crazy and he's like jumping around and dancing, but like ask him to do an interview, then he's like he doesn't know what to say.
Yeah, I get that. I get that completely. Sydney, how about you? How are you and how's your week been?
No, I can't complain. It's been busy as always. I just got home like half an hour ago from work. I just got out the shower, getting ready to go to the show. Um,
Okay.
yeah. How about you?
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm fine. Busy week myself as well. I changed locations at work, so it's all a bit crazy, which is why we had to move this by 2 hours. Originally, I don't know what was wrong with me, but I would have still been at work 2 hours ago, so I don't know what the hell, what was going on there. So really appreciate you moving it by an additional 2 hours.
Anytime.
Right. Well, Shanesh, going back to you, what's been keeping you busy recently specifically? And you can take this from a personal and a band perspective.
Yeah, I know. I mean, so I'm a guitar teacher. That's what I do for a living. So I'm pretty busy with students and stuff like that. I also do session work for bass. I played weirdly, I know it's not very punk, but I played for a Taylor Swift tribute band this past
Mm.
weekend. And I got paid pretty well for it, and it was actually pretty fun. The songs are pretty fun to play, even though it's like pop. Um, so I've been busy with that, and then also I'm a solo musician. I've been writing my own songs, recording my own stuff at home. And yeah, that's been what's been keeping me busy.
I noticed the Taylor Swift thing. I was delving into social media of the band earlier on, as you do, because of course you're out there and getting a little bit of an idea what's going on in your lives. And I noticed the Taylor Swift thing, and I thought, okay, that's really intriguing. Are you a Taylor Swift fan though? Are you a fan?
Okay, honestly, when I joined the band, I felt quite indifferent to the music. I didn't love it or hate it. Um, but now that I've played a couple of the songs, I think I'm a Swiftie. It's
Amazing. Sydney, are you a Taylor Swift fan?
Not really. I've never gotten into the music, so I can't say I am, but also I can't say I'm not. So it's
That's fair.
yeah.
And it's a fair way to see it. But what's been keeping you busy then, particularly recently?
Mainly just work, eh? Um,
Mm,
so I'm a supervisor in a factory, and it never stops. The work just keeps coming, and it's
yeah.
but yeah, it's fun work. I enjoy it
Mm.
for the most part.
What about the post-release period? Because obviously, um, EP out, and that post-release period can be a mixed bag. It can be incredibly busy for some, but it can also be a time to kind of relax and reflect on what you've achieved at that point. What's been keeping you busy in that regards, Sydney?
Not much, eh? Band hasn't been too active as of after our release.
Mm,
Um, so it's just mainly been me dealing with my personal things, trying to sort all that out. I feel like it's the same thing with all the other band members. Hey, Shanish?
yeah, you concur, Shinesh?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, to an extent. I mean, as soon as we released the EP, we did like two shows in Joburg and Pretoria, which is like around where we stay. And then we already
Mm.
had like a pre-planned Cape Town tour, which we did as well.
Mm,
But since then, we haven't really had to do much. We've obviously had Warren doing I'm pretty sure you know Warren.
of
He's
course.
been doing the heavy lifting for us in terms of the PR, which we're very grateful for. Um, but yeah, I mean, t tonight we're playing a show. This is the first time we're going to play since the EP came out. Um, so yeah, I mean, not too much in terms of band stuff, but like, I think everyone kind of needed a bit of a mental health break
Mm.
Yeah.
because leading up
Good
to the
people.
EP, we were just yeah, we were going like you guys use miles. We were going like 100 miles an hour, maybe 120.
You say that, but you still released an EP and then did shows, and so like it's not like you really took a big like an immediate stop and break and then just go separate ways for a period of time. And of course, you're playing, as you said, tonight. So I don't
Yeah.
know what your idea of calming it down is, but it doesn't sound very calm to me.
Well, I mean, for us it is because
Mm.
generally we see each other all the time because we are bandmates, but we're also like best friends. But I haven't seen these guys since we played in Cape Town like a month ago.
Wow, so
Miss you.
Yeah.
you're taking a little break from each other, so to speak.
Yeah, no, like after tour, I mean, we three of us drove down in my car, and I still have the smell of all the cigarettes we smoked. I think we smoked about maybe like 30 boxes in those
Oh,
4 days.
oh,
So I'm
fabulous.
giving I'm giving I'm giving myself a break from them, and I'm also giving my car a break from them.
Mm, very good. Go back to you, Sydney. Right, so obviously show tonight. Talk. I want to kind of get into what's your pre-show kind of not ritual, but sort of what gets you prepared to get onto that stage.
So normally I just take a shower
Mhm.
and then I just sit and scroll through TikTok for, for like half an hour and then
Distract
I'll
yourself
go to,
effectively, yeah?
yeah, yeah. That's pretty much it. I just relax at home and then drive to my show listening to good music.
I love it. I love it.
It's not too much.
Sh No, but honestly, it's I'd imagine it'd be so easy to get in your head and start overthinking about, well, what's the crowd gonna be like? What the numbers gonna be like? What about this? What about that? So effectively being able to just
Yeah,
take yourself out of it and enjoy the period where you are just going to the show and listen to other music. It's nice.
yeah.
Shinesh, how about you? What gets you on stage?
Well, for me, it's like slightly different. Most of the shows we play, I'm firstly like sort of the co-manager of the band, so I have to make
Hmm.
sure everyone knows the schedules, knows what time we're going on, sound check, stuff like that. But also, usually when we play shows, we organize them ourselves. So I'm not only worrying about my band, I'm worrying about the whole event. I need to make sure everyone knows what they need to do, if everything's running on time. But the nice thing about tonight is I'm not running the event. So I'm just gonna do what I would do, which is just chill, go have maybe a beer with my friends, and then get on stage. I play best when I'm relaxed. Like I don't like to get too psyched up, and you know I don't listen to like music to get me hyped. As soon as I get on the stage, it just yeah.
I wish you all the best of luck. I hope you enjoy it and it's a relaxed gig for you if you're going to start up both off that way. But we've got to talk about you guys specifically, and we've got to go back a little bit to the EP. That's kind of what I want to focus now. The Milk was finished because we were thirsty. It's been out since May 27th. I've got that correct, right? May 27th.
May 23rd.
Oh, it's May 23rd. Of course it was. It was.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. May 23rd. So we are, well, yeah, because it's June 27th today. That's why.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's been out for over a month. So still very early days, but their response to it has been pretty damn strong overall. You only got to trawl through a little bit of social media and across the web to find responses to it. Are you individually, starting with you, Sydney, are you happy with the response that you've seen so far?
Oh, definitely. Getting a lot of positive feedback. Um, my brother actually met this girl the other day when he went to a party, and so he went to her house and met her family and everything, and finds out that her dad actually listens to my band, and
No
I was
way.
shocked. And then also I went to my friend's birthday party, and some his brother's friends, he's like 17. He also just knew the band out of nowhere. I was shocked. It's quite cool.
It is so cool when that happens, right? Because, I mean, that's the validation to a certain degree, right? Because ultimately, your friends and your family can tell you they love your band and stuff like that. But when you meet people out in the gig, whether it be at shows, who come up to you and say, "Hi, I really love what you're doing," or whatever, or those accidental meeting people randomly like that who just know you. It's a rock
Yeah.
star moment, right?
It feels amazing. I can't describe it.
Mm.
Um, it's a really good feeling.
Oh, I'm glad. That's wonderful. Shinesh, how about you? How are you finding it? The response?
Yeah, no, it's been way better than I could have ever expected. We in coinciding with the release of the EP, we also printed CDs, and all of them are gone. And
That's
we've
perfect.
only played 3 shows since the EP came out. So it's like, what, you guys really want CDs? I mean, who even listens to these anymore? Um, and yeah, I mean, similar to what Sydney's saying too. Like, I went to the grocery store the other day, and then the cashier knew that I was the guitarist of Lefokolodi, and
Really?
I was like, how the fuck do you know that? Because it's like you don't expect people from like everyday walks of life to just know you. So it is a bit of a rock star moment. But I'll treat it as a rock star moment when I'm like sitting in the Rolls Royce. Um, you know.
Yeah, but who earns money for music these days? That is an impossible task.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's rough. I mean, we don't do it for money, obviously. If we were doing it for money, we wouldn't do it because it's like
Yeah.
the one thing you wouldn't do if you want to make money is be a musician. So we do it really because we love it.
No question, but it is obviously wonderful for people to be acknowledging the quality of what you put out there and to acknowledge what you're doing. Do you think does that make you think then that people kind of get what you are going for and what you wanted to express on this EP?
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because the songs that we put on the EP, they're not songs that we sat down and were like, okay, we're gonna write songs for a specific EP. These are songs that we've been writing since we started the band in like 2022.
Mm,
Um, and when we did do that, when we started the band, we were just playing in our drummer's garage, and we were making all this weird music, and we didn't think that anyone would actually like it. But then, obviously, we started playing shows, and then now that we've put it on Spotify and printed CDs, we realized people actually like it. So for us, it's also kind of weird because we never really thought that anyone would like. I mean, sure, like you might get like one or two, but we didn't think it'd be to this extent where we're playing some of the biggest festivals in the country and stuff like that. Like, so it's a nice surprise, I guess. We didn't plan for it.
Sydney, going on that, what was just talked about there? What expectations do you think you had at the earliest stage of the band's existence? Did you have any?
So in the beginning, I didn't want to be a part of the band. Um,
Okay.
um, but Yaki needed help because they needed a bassist, and they had a show in like a couple of days, so I needed to learn all the bass lines. So I did, and I ended up sticking around because in the beginning they were my friends and I was helping them out, and I just fell in love with the music, and
Mm.
I didn't want to leave anymore. And yeah, we are 5 years, no, what, 4 years? 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah, 3 years. 3 years later, and I'm still here. I never expected it to get to the scale it is now, but I've got no regrets in it.
Mm.
I've loved every moment.
So wow, so you jump in, you're helping out, and then you just become addicted to it and become a part of it. Yeah, I mean that's an incredible story to tell. Shanesh, what expectations though did you have? You say like, okay, you never really planned or thought this would be the case because obviously back then it's impossible to really think of anything beyond that. But you must have had some idea of what you kind of maybe wanted to achieve. Did you?
Yeah, I mean, look, but my honest like feeling when we started the band was that, okay, cool, it'd be cool to like be in a band and then play in front of maybe 5 people every couple of weeks in a tiny bar. I'd be like,
Mm.
that's pretty fun. That's the reason I started doing it. So for me, that was my expectation. I was like, that's what it's gonna be, and it's gonna be fucking fun. And I'm doing it with my friends and like gonna have a fucking good time. I never thought like, we'd be where we are now. It's like completely unimaginable to me.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, reflection's a difficult thing as well because ultimately, if I was to try and challenge you and say, well, compare now to then and think back to what you thought then, it won't really matter because ultimately you could never have known back then or even considered, particularly in this industry where there's such a mess, to even get your voice out there, let alone find success, whatever that might mean. It would be impossible for you to sum it up. So we're going to try and, but I still need to kind of focus on those early days. And I kind of want to return to the EP. Now, you've talked, obviously, it wasn't necessarily sit down and this is what we're going to make as an EP and so on. But there must have been a vision regarding the earliest music, the songs that would appear in this EP. What did that vision look like? Anyone could take this.
Um, like honestly, we were just like we were doing our regular songwriting process, which is where we would show up to the practice space, and I would have something, or Sidney would have something, or
Hmm.
Lorenzo or Yakin would have something, and then we'd put a bunch of things together and then make one song. Um, so that was pretty much what we were doing. When we decided to actually record it as an EP, it was more of a sense of like, okay, we've got this many songs, let's go record them. Um, you know, it's uh, it's it's a bit of like a weird one because I know most bands these days there's usually one person writing the music,
Hmm.
and they're like spearheading everything. Whereas like in this EP, I mean, if you go through song by song, I can tell you, okay, this started with Sidney coming up with a bass line, or this started with Yakin coming up with a drum thing, or this started with me coming up with a guitar thing, and we all put it together, and then it became one big mess because everyone in the band has very different taste in music,
Hmm.
which is why if you listen to our music, it's not a specific sound. Like usually when you listen to a band, you'll be like, okay, that's the sound they're going for. With us, it's all over the place. It's
Oh,
um it's a bit of a mess, but yeah,
yeah, you can use the word mess, but I mean, ultimately, it's just genre defying. There's something spectacular and enjoyably great about experiencing something that it isn't as easy to put in a box. We almost have to do it. What genre do you belong in so we can sell you? And that comes from a PR perspective as much as a review perspective to even a fan
yeah,
perspective. You must be described as this. But the real fun is when it's impossible, or at least difficult. Oh, you can pick the parts out, and with you guys, that is very, very much the case. But Sydney, I wanted to also get your thoughts on that. Those early kind of creative moments when you were writing music that would appear in this EP, was it really a lot of stuff coming out from just about everybody, including yourself? And then was it an easy choice to kind of narrow down what would be the best and what would end up on this EP?
Um, so I don't quite know how to answer it. Could you repeat the question, please? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. It's about the creative process, particularly what you are all bringing to the writing for this EP. So you have these songs, you're all trying out ideas, and they're becoming these songs. Um, was there a lot of songs like from that creative period, and was it easy to narrow down the choices for this EP?
It wasn't easy at all. There were quite a few good songs that I wanted on there, but didn't make the cut, like 100 back. Um, no, but I think the album really combines a bit of all of us.
Mm.
Um, like I'll have a song that is almost like a song I came up with idea for in the beginning, Shinesh, and so every song has a bit of all of us in it, if that makes sense.
It does. And so this is, I mean, from your perspective, a very cohesive EP. You can, when you listen to it and you hear it, you can identify all the things that you did amongst others. And it feels like what, like a family kind of release?
In a way, yeah. That's actually a
yeah,
great way to explain it.
yeah. I would say that I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Considering you said they're a fair bit kind of, didn't sort of obviously end up in the EP because it's an EP, it's only so long. Did you consider going the full length album route?
Yeah, I mean, look, like the honest truth is, like, that song that Sydney mentioned, 100 back. It's a great song, and when we play it live, people love it.
Hmm,
But when we were thinking of recording the EP, we didn't have the budget to do that
of
many songs.
course.
Otherwise, I mean, like if we had an unlimited budget, we'd be writing an album, every 6 months and releasing it, you know. But unfortunately, because we're all working musicians and production is expensive, studio time is expensive, we didn't. But I mean, hopefully that's the next thing we go for. We go for a full album, amongst other things.
It's the sad, unfortunate reality of making music these days. I already knew. I figured that was going to be the answer. Because why? If you, why wouldn't you? If you could, you know.
Yeah,
It sucks, but fingers crossed. Then things continue to improve and allows you the freedom to create and release even more music, however that is. I mean, even considering how music is consumed these days, let's be honest. There's no harm in just dropping singles and EPs just to kind of keep the attention on you, rather than going full length anyway.
yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I think these days it's very different from how it was, when my dad used to tell me that he had like the Dire Straits album on a CD. And then that's all he could listen to because back then there was no Spotify and there was no Wi-Fi and you couldn't stream any song you wanted.
Mm.
So I mean, yeah, these days, I mean, I feel like most bands are gravitating more towards just doing singles or maybe just a small EP than an album. We would still like to do an album, but obviously it's just budgets and yeah.
Of course, it's one of the major challenges of being in a band these days. But alongside that, there are lots of other stuff. You want to be as creative as possible, and all you want to do is make good music and hopefully get out in the world and into people's ears. But those challenges, they pop up all the time. If we continue on the sort of path of looking at the early creative process for the songs that would appear in this EP, Sidney, what were some of the challenges that you specifically faced, and what did it take to overcome them?
So when I first joined the band, a lot of the songs were already written.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm not really used to playing bass lines that other people have written. So
Fair.
coming together with Laurent and him showing me the bass lines and how to play them, it was a bit of a challenge for me in that kind of way. But I guess I kind of just put my own flair to it, and we came to mutual agreement that no, okay, this is fine. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I can also just add, like, I think like Sydney definitely he put his own he put his own twist on things, and if he wasn't the bassist, it would sound completely different. The song would definitely sound completely different from how it was originally.
How about you, though, Shinesh? What were some of the challenges you thought you faced, and how did you overcome them?
So it's funny, I because I am the guitarist in the band, and in general, I spend a lot of time writing music by
Mm.
myself. Sometimes I'd come up with a cool riff or something, and I'd bring it to practice. And then the funniest thing that happened is I remember I did that one time, and then our vocalist Larato was like, "Yeah, but it sounds too Lefokolodi." So you've got to figure out a way now. How do you fucking take it to the next level? How do you not be boring anymore? So it's interesting because like I think all the band members they definitely elevated me in terms of creativity. Otherwise, I would have just stuck into like a punk or stoner rock sort of sound specifically. But yeah, so that was for me the biggest challenge too. And then obviously sometimes you get a bit butthurt. You're like, oh, these guys don't like my ideas.
Hmm.
When am I going to get to? But that's it's a good thing about being in a band. If we were one of those bands where it was one person writing the music would be a lot more boring.
It's fair. No egos. You're able to be honest with each other and say, when something works and something doesn't.
Yeah, yeah, no, 100%.
Well done, because it's a difficult task and for a lot of people, for being able to keep that in check. But clearly you enjoyed that period of time as well. Clearly, creating music together is important to you. So sticking
Yeah,
to that
and I
particular
mean,
period, and sorry.
no, sorry, I was just gonna add, like, I with the band dynamic, with the way we write music, it's very difficult for me now to actually just write a song by myself.
Really?
It's very different. I mean, there's one song on the EP that I did write like from the beginning to the end. Maybe like the lyrics will fall in here and there, but like in general, if I sit down with my guitar and like I can't write, I keep overthinking it now because I'm like, oh, but these guys are gonna tell me they're like in my head, they're like on my shoulders, telling me, no, you got to change this. It's got to be a bit more different. It's gonna.
Interesting. Sydney, what are you going through right now when you consider when you're writing music? What was there is there anything you're kind of going through?
I don't generally sit alone and write music.
Hmm.
I never really have. The only time I write music is with the guys.
Ah,
Um, I sometimes do, electronic things, but I haven't done that in years. So yeah, I've always struggled writing alone, but when I get together with them, it's just ideas just
just
flow. I don't know. It's like magic.
yeah, so like some connection, some spark just occurs and it just works for you. Fantastic. Obviously, the goal of us sitting here and chatting, as much as to talk about and get into your insight into what you actually created, is to as well, hopefully, to those who may not know you and are coming across this interview, to learn a little bit more about you and what you do, and then hopefully go on to listen to the music, go listen to that EP, turn this interview off. Come back to it later and go listen to the EP, then continue it. And that's an important thing because we want listeners, one ears on this record. And then I'm always interested to hear what they've got to say about it. What do you individually, Shinesh, starting with you, what do you hope listeners take away from your music?
Well, I think specifically with this EP, but also I guess you could even, clump all of the other music we've
Hmm.
ever made into it, is just you know, people will tell you that things don't work, but you can make them work. You can take the Lego pieces. You don't have to build the the Ferrari. You can build the Frankenstein Honda Civic, and it'll still be pretty fucking cool.
Very cool. Sydney, what do you think?
No, I kind of just hope that people feel the same way I feel when I play the music. It's just that it makes me feel happy. Just kind of makes me forget about the stress that I've had throughout my day. And that's the main thing that keeps me going in music. It's just the way it makes me feel.
What is music for if not to make you feel something, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of focus on the future though. Although you said, you've been taking not a break, so to speak, but just, chilling out for a little bit. You are about to play a show tonight as of the time recording. I kind of want to focus a little bit on what might be going on right now. Am I right to just presume that writing is in hand and things will be occurring in the future, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think that's as long as you don't end up hating each other and breaking up, I think we'll continue making music, writing more music, putting out more music, playing more shows. Yeah, so I think that's definitely a given.
Is there anything specific you can tell me about though? Like, is there stuff actually like, well, how creative are things right now?
Um, so this is a kind of a funny story. I don't know if I should actually tell it, but I'm going to anyways because
Hmm.
no one's here to stop me. So we usually write our songs at rehearsal, um, and we haven't rehearsed in 2 months
Hmm.
because of the fact that everyone has personal lives, they're busy, um, things cost money,
Of
unfortunately.
course.
So I mean, I guess the honest answer at this very point in time, there isn't a song, a coherent song that we've written in that 2 month period. However, I think the other day Larato just sent like some rap lyrics
Yeah.
on like a voice note. Um,
That's pretty
so
sick.
things are so things are at least coming together in that sense. But once we end up getting in the jam room, we can actually put it all together, and that's where we'll make an actual song.
I don't think anybody can judge anyone at your level and around that for being busy, and real life does get in the way of everything. It's that, and so if for the time being you can't be as creative as you would like to be, well, cool, no worries. We'll just wait until you are and look forward to that moment. Guys, I want another couple of minutes of your time, just briefly. What we do now is we have this. This is Ozzy Osbourne the second, because the first one had an accident. And in it
Oh,
are
shit.
anything and everything. It's a ceramic skull. Of course, it was going to have an accident eventually. But yeah, in it are questions, basically, of everything and everything, all in the name of fun, including many submissions by bands and artists that we've spoken to over the years. We've been doing this a while. So what I do now is I'm just going to pull some out at random and ask you both to answer the question. I will direct it to you, of course, as well. So we begin with I should say, they're all based around the three core parts of our website: games, brains, which is horror, and headbang, which is music, of course. So we begin with a gaming one. Hopefully you're both gamers, but we'll find out. Fallout or Elder Scrolls? Let's start with you, Sidney.
Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls all the way. Are you looking forward to Elder Scrolls 6 when it might eventually turn up?
I probably won't be able to play it because I won't be able to afford the next PlayStation that comes out.
Yes. Those
I'll watch
prices, yeah.
I'll watch the gameplay videos.
Shinesh, what about you?
Well, to be honest, I haven't played Elder Scrolls, so I'm just going to say Fallout.
Well, there you go, makes it
Similar vein
easy.
to Sydney, to what Sydney said, games are just too expensive these days, unfortunately. So yeah,
They are indeed. A music one, then it's an either or again. Shinesh, Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody.
Pretty much just it.
Yeah.
Sidney,
I would say I'm the same. The
who is
Backstreet
it,
Boys.
right? What else we got? Right. Right, this is a general one. Sidney, do you think aliens have ever visited Earth?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. In a kind of like story one, like in a sense, you know, the ones that are out there, Roswell and things like that, or in a not that, but probably have anyway.
Uh, I think it's hard to say. I can't really tell.
Hmm.
I think it's very possible. Very um it makes sense.
Fair, fair. Shinesh, do you agree, or you got a different view?
So not to get philosophical here, but I think sometimes as human beings, we place our importance more highly than it actually is in the universe. So I don't think if aliens did exist, I don't understand why the fuck they would care about us.
Because they're curious, man. I mean, we went to the moon just because, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, they probably went to other moons like way before us in cooler ways too.
Okay, Sydney, what is a meal you cook better than anyone else?
It's got to be steak. I cook
Steak?
it like twice
Okay.
a week.
Ooh. And there's another question in that then. How do you like your steak done?
Medium rare.
Medium
You know,
rare.
nice and pink on the inside.
Shinesh, what about you? What's a meal you cook better than anyone else?
Scrambled eggs. Like no one can make it the way that I like it except me.
Okay, I challenge you to that. I think I am very, very good at that. Is there anything you do specific that nobody else kind of thinks of doing, or very few people think of doing?
Well, I mean, I don't do anything. I mean, I add some milk in there just to get it like a bit fluffy. But just also just generally getting the texture right. Like sometimes get people get it too leaky or too opposite of leaky for some reason. My brain is my
Dry.
brain is fried. But yeah.
I get you. Right. Sydney, what is something that never fails to make you smile?
Yo, that's a tough one.
Mm.
Can I get back
Shinesh,
to
you
you?
can, yeah, Shinesh, jump in if you've got an answer.
Yeah, I have an answer. I always smile when I see Sidney shirtless on stage.
Are you a shirtless? You're shirtless on stage a lot, Sydney.
No, no, not really. It's kind of the thing we do. So we got this song about having like body positivity. And to
Hmm.
just enforce we take our shirts off and say, you got to be proud of yourself.
Yeah, so we all go shirtless, but I get
This
specifically happy
makes
for Sidney.
this makes sense when I. All right, that makes a lot of sense. As I said earlier on in the interview, I was in your social media and I couldn't help noticing there was a couple of times where that appeared to be on stage. But I just presumed, hey, it's hot, right? It's hot. That's why.
Oh, that too.
Well, we're gonna do it tonight too, and it's gonna be fucking cold. Like the nipples are gonna be pointy. Um,
All right, guys, about 35 minutes, so I'm going to ask you one more. And it's a nice, simple one. And great, really, because this all depends on country more than anything else. Sydney, what is your favorite swear word?
Yeah, I don't like swearing on camera,
Okay, all right, no worries.
but
Shinesh?
mostly the word puss.
I feel like mine and Sydney's is the same. And the swear word is puss.
Yeah,
There it
yeah.
is. There it
Yeah.
is. No worries. It's been a pleasure to speak to you both. We should remind everybody that the milk was finished because we were thirsty. Your debut EP, it is out now, May 23rd. So we had over a little month over it, but there's plenty of legs in this one. We hope it runs very, very far. The entire world gets to hear this and experience what you're doing. And then from that, you get to bounce and bounce and bounce, continue to play it live around your own country, but also then, fingers crossed, get the spread even further afield. And I look very, very much forward to seeing what comes next because the EP is incredible. Sydney, Shinesh, thank you so much for giving me your time.
Thank you
Thanks,
for having
Colin.
us.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah, this has been really fun.
Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.